When a pardon turns the tables, can mercy rewrite a convicted man's public story, or just deepen the controversy? President Bola Tinubu's sweeping act of clemency has just redrawn the contour of Nigerian politics, thrusting one of its most contentious figures, Farouk Lawan, back into the spotlight. Once convicted in a high-profile bribery scandal, Lawan now says his hope is renewed. But critics warn the pardon could do more harm than good. Here's a full look at what's happening, why it matters, and how this could reshape the balance between justice, forgiveness, and political power. The pardon that shocked the status quo. On October 9, 2025, the presidency announced a major exercise of the prerogative of mercy. Clemency to 82 inmates, commutation of sentences, reductions, and posthumous pardons. Among the living beneficiaries was Farouk Lawan, formerly convicted for his role in a $3 million bribery scandal tied to the fuel subsidy probe. Lawan responded with visible relief and gratitude, issuing statements that portrayed the pardon as deeply personal. To a fatherly, compassionate, and decisive political leader, God and history shall remember you. Mr. President has cast a warm blanket over me, pulling me back from the harshness of yesterday's cold. My hope is renewed. Those lines carry weight, not just for Lawan's dignity, but for how his return to public life might be framed. Who is Farouk Lawan? The rise, the scandal, the downfall. Political clout and early influence. Lawan was once a dominant legislative figure in Nigeria's Fourth Republic. A former lecturer turned lawmaker from Kano, he led the Integrity Group in the House of Representatives, helped depose Speaker Patricia Etta over alleged irregularities, and served multiple terms representing Bagwai/Shanono in Kano. He was also chairman of the House Committee on Finance, and his name became tightly interwoven with Nigeria's fuel subsidy investigations, a sector that would later define his downfall. The bribery conviction. Lawan's fall came through a widely publicized sting. In 2021, he was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for soliciting $3 million in bribes, of which $500,000 was delivered in a sting operation orchestrated with the State Security Service. The appellate court reduced his sentence to 5 years, and on January 26, 2024, the Supreme Court affirmed his conviction, effectively ending his appeals. Lawan was later released from custody in October 2024 after serving his sentence. So his pardon is not about freeing a man still fighting his conviction. It's about granting mercy after full legal adjudication. The official justification and the mercy machinery. The presidential press release cited a Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy, PACPM, chaired by the Attorney General, which screened and recommended 175 beneficiaries, living and deceased. Lawan's inclusion, and those of 3 others, was justified on grounds of reintegration into society, having demonstrated sufficient remorse. The pardon was also endorsed by the National Council of State, making it both a legal and political act wrapped in institutional backing. The political undertones and Kano's chessboard. Much of the speculation around Lawan's pardon centers on Kano State, where he remains a political heavyweight. How the pardon plays there could influence 2027 gubernatorial and legislative contests. Proponents argue that the pardon is a symbolic gesture of reconciliation and re-engagement, redeeming a disgraced actor in hopes of political utility. Others see it as political calculation meant to realign loyalties in northern Nigeria. Lawan himself frames his return as a moral recommitment, one that puts active citizenship and service to Nigeria ahead of personal ambition. But symbolic rhetoric must be matched by action if he wishes to regain public trust. The critics' counterpoint: mercy or impunity. Not everyone is comfortable with how mercy is being extended in this case. SERAP, Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, in echoing criticisms from a past pardon under Buhari, has warned that pardoning high-profile corruption convicts can undermine judicial authority and independence, create a perception that powerful figures can effectively buy their way out, erode public confidence in the rule of law. They argue clemency should not become a shield for impunity simply because of political stature. The balance between justice and mercy is delicate, especially where corruption and public accountability are involved. What's next? Redemption or rejection? Lawan now faces a high-stakes road. 1. Redeeming credibility. He must show genuine remorse, consistent ethical behavior, and substantive contribution in public discourse. Sentiment alone won't suffice. 2. Political repositioning. Will his pardon translate to new alliances, influence, or even candidacy? His return may pressure other political actors in Kano and beyond. 3. Public and civil society scrutiny. Every move will be dissected, especially by accountability-focused groups eager to see if this pardon is normalized or exceptional. 4. A test for the Tinubu presidency. The administration's handling of mercy powers will be judged. Will clemency be seen as reconciling or as undermining justice? Why this pardon matters beyond one man. It highlights how prerogative of mercy powers can alter political ecosystems. It raises questions about whether convicted public officials can or should be rehabilitated into public life. It shows the tension between judicial finality, when courts have spoken, and executive pardon, when mercy intervenes. It underscores how regional power dynamics can influence decisions tied to clemency and political redemption.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this update and want to stay informed with fast, reliable news, don't forget to subscribe to Newsflash 360. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. Your next headline is just seconds away.